Swinging a high drive into center field. It's at the wall. It is gone! Casas does it again. It's gone! It's into the bullpen! This game is tied! This game is tied!
He swings and rips one to center field. It's high, it's deep, it's back, it's gone! Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! The Red Sox have won the World Championship!
Welcome back to Play Tessie. It is episode 121. If you're listening on drop day, it is August 27th. This is the official podcast of Dixie Cup Brown Whiskey, also known as the official Red Sox podcast of WEEI. Before we get going, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars. It helps us out a ton when you guys do that, so we really appreciate it. You can also find us on YouTube. We are on the WEEI page, and you can hit the thumbs up button on those videos. And as always, after you're done with that, go to a podcast platform and subscribe. Also can find us on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. I'm here with Sammy and I'm here with Pat. And when talking about the Red Sox in the scope of this season, and certainly right now, you can't avoid and you can't deny the presence that the big three, cough, cough, it's actually a big four, have. They have been as big a part of the story of this season as anything, because if you're scrolling through social media and you're trying to, see like if you're not watching the game on a particular night, you're trying to see some highlights. Devers went deep. Costas hit a RBI double. Like Yoshida hit a 3-run triple. I don't know. But you're scrolling through your social feeds, and a lot of what you're going to see is highlights from these elite prospects, these elite offensive prospects that the Red Sox have that are now all in AAA. And as we know, AAA is a stepping stone. Like, you're facing, borderline MLB talent. You're facing a lot of guys who have been in the big leagues before, and a lot of guys who have years and years of big league experience that are trying to get back there. This is the final step, and all 4 of the Red Sox biggest prospects, Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, Kyle Teal, and Christian Campbell, are all there. Marcelo's hurt, so he hasn't played a game, but we're checking in here, man, and Roman Anthony and Christian Campbell in particular are off to great AAA starts, and it just leaves you wondering, whether they could help the team this year if the team stays in it, or if the team's not in it and you want to give them a cup of coffee. Could these guys be factors for the Red Sox at the big league level, maybe even this year?
I have a weird take. I think if the Red Sox fall out of the race, it's more likely that you see these guys. I don't think they're going to bring up Campbell, Anthony, Teal. Meyer's hurt, so he's not an option, but I don't think they'll bring up any of those 3 to help them in the race. That's that's tough, because it wouldn't be like bringing up Jacoby Ellsbury or Xander Bogaerts, where they're like a complementary piece at the beginning. They would need a lot out of these guys. Like, you're right in a race where your odds aren't super good. You're not a veteran team. I just can't see them bringing them up and being like, all right, you got to help us out. However, if they fall out and it's kind of like, you're probably going to be on the major league roster next year, why don't you go get your feet wet, dip your little toesies in the pond. That's the scenario I would see. I could, conceivably see guys like Campbell, Anthony, Teal getting the call for a little cup of coffee.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as Sammy. I think of the guys who could get called up, because I don't think Roman's coming up this year. I think Campbell and maybe Teal, you could say, sure, have a shot. I think it's jumping the gun to bring those guys up. It's not a saving grace, but as like okay, you're going to benefit, you're going to produce, and you're going to be a big part of this team moving forward down the stretch. I don't think they do that, but I don't know. I think if they get out of it, it's nothing. These games don't matter. You guys are doing great in the minors. Let's see what you can do with the big leagues. Worst comes to worst, they don't handle it well. They start next year down. Like, it's not a big deal. It's a normal September thing. So I think. I'm curious,
why do you say no, Anthony?
I don't know. I think because he's the youngest of the 4. He's hit really well, including at AAA in the very limited sample size. I think he's only 20. Like, and I get like some guys come up at 20 and they wreak havoc and they're stars and whatever. But with someone like Anthony that you really, really want so desperately for them to pan out, I think they really take their time with him. I think they just go from scratch from block one next year, spring training. If he crushes spring training, go there, give him a full year. I don't know if they're willing to do the up and down thing. Because if he comes up and flounders and then he's back in the minors next year, I mean, it's normal, but I don't know what it does to a guy mentally like that, especially so young.
I have a theory about why, because if you ask me, I think if they're in it, if they're in the race, there's only one of these guys that I think has a real chance to come up and like be used and be useful, and it's Campbell, because he's right-handed and he plays several positions, so he can help you in a number of ways. The Roman thing gets difficult because you look at what they have out there. You look at the left-handed outfield bats that they've got, like Duran and Abreu that are already up there. Like, to get Roman in there, you're going to be taking at bats away from, one of those guys, or Cedon or O'Neill. And it's like, if they get hurt, then that's a different discussion. But if everyone's healthy, it's not like you have a guy that's not performing, you're sure isn't going to be part of the team next year. Like, I think there's definitely a world where Tyler O'Neill is part of the team next year. Rob Refsnyder's under contract. I know he's talked about retirement, but they don't seem to think that that's happening. And obviously, Jarren Duran and Wilyer Abreu are huge parts of this team. So it's not like there's an obvious choice of a guy you kick to the bench to get Roman that cup of coffee. And if you're contending, the left-handed bats have been probably the biggest strength of this team. So it's not like you necessarily need to add that. So I think Campbell is the biggest shoe-in if they're contending. And if they're not contending, I mean, I don't know. Anyone could go. Anyone could come up. Like
they're not contending.
Games they don't matter. So it's not like it's just a matter of philosophy. Like, if the team thinks that the prospects will benefit from getting big league time and that they're the future, like, yeah, they'll get it. But I don't know. They haven't had very much time in AAA, so I'd be a little bit hesitant to predict that any of them get it.
How crazy is that Christian Campbell, who is not even part of this quote unquote big three, he's the one that we're all, it sounds like we're all in consensus. Like, if any of them do come up, we probably think it'll be Campbell. Yeah. Pretty wild how he's ascended like this. Cause even when he was drafted, he was looked at a toolsy guy, but not a sure thing. Kind of, we've seen the swing. The swing is as violent as it comes.
Yeah.
But it's been working for him, and it's been working at the low level of the minors and then up to the top level. So
go look at some of his college tape too. Like, they have worked a lot with it. Like, it's come a long way. If you look at it now, it's crazy. His college tape is wild.
Really? I got to check that out. Yeah, he swings angry. Like, he looks like the ball wronged him, and he's out for revenge against the baseball. And he gets that revenge more often than not.
I think my take in terms of why Campbell should be the one of the four that might actually come up, contribute, and kind of fill a hole for the team moving forward is, beyond him being a right-handed bat, the other three, you can kind of nitpick something that they actually can improve on or work on in the minors. Like, Roman can work on his batting average. Kyle Teal can work on his power. Like, he 11 home runs this year, fair amount of doubles, but more consistent power. Marcelo isn't healthy right now, obviously. But there are things that those three can kind of really hone in on and fine-tune in the minors. I would be stunned if either of you or anyone listening can find something that Christian Campbell can work on in the minors right now, because we're beyond the point of small sample size. I'll just read you his stats this year. 100 games across high A, double A, and triple A. 100 games, 452 plate appearances. That is a full workload in the minors. That's not like a platoon guy. That's not a guy who's missed time. That's whatever. Across the three leagues, 31 doubles, 18 home runs, 69 RBI, 21 steals. His walk to strikeouts is 62 to 88.
Wow. That's the biggest thing right there. That's the best part. 62
He's
to
hitting
like
343 with an OBP of 445. A slug of 583 and an OPS of 1.028.
And Pat, to add on to that, one of the other most impressive things is that it's not like he just cleaned up on an A ball and had like a 1300 OPS, then had like an 850 in double A and like has played only a few AAA games. His OPS is at 1,000 or better at every single level.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, he's playing shortstop, second base, and outfield.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
So this isn't a guy who's getting comfortable position that he won't play in the majors, like he's blocked or whatever. He's legit like playing those three positions, second, center field, and shortstop, like a game in one game in a 3-game series. Like he is actually revolving around those three spots on a consistent basis, and the playing time is pretty even across those three.
Yeah, seriously.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Those are premium spots too. It's not like he's going from left field to first base. Like, oh, he's got some utility. He's playing premium spots.
He's playing up the middle. He's playing 4 of the 5 up the middle positions. And another thing here is, like, he's been in the system only for a year now. He's the oldest of these big 4 guys. This is the oldest one. And when we talked,
22.
Yeah, and when we talked to Sammy, I don't know if you remember this, when we were talking to Brian Abraham on the radio a week and change ago, and this is like right before he got the call to AAA, and I asked him, like, what does he need to show you to get there? And it's an interesting question because, like, all he could really say was we just want him to work on his versatility, because there's really nothing in his game this year that he's shown that needs a ton of improvement. There's a lot of scout, like, the reason he's not like a consensus like elite top 10 prospect or whatever is because a lot of scouts don't love the swing mechanics and don't think he's going to have a ton of success with high velocity. But to this point, that hasn't been the case. Like, obviously you'll see more consistent velocity as you make it through AAA and eventually to the majors, of course. But yeah, this is a guy who's got all he really needs is the experience. I mean, he's been a professional baseball player for a year, so just got to keep getting those reps. In a lot of situations, like if this guy were on the Angels, he'd be in the majors for sure.
I mean, Nico Cavadas is in the majors for him.
It's true.
Yeah, he's also a big kid, 6'3", right around 200 pounds, and he's not. If you look at him, he's still got that baby face. So conceivably, he's going to get even bulkier, bigger. So could have something special here. Yeah, I'm still the one thing is the swing, but I mean, like we've discussed, it looks a lot like Hunter Pence, kind of Marcell Ozuna, long swing. But if you got reactions like that, kid, I'm sure you can make it work. I'm excited. It's excited to think about it. I feel like we've been waiting a long time for this wave of prospects. Kind of got like the preview with Sedon and Willier, but now the premium boys are almost ready. They're cooking.
Let's I've got an interesting question. Obviously, so much of it is based off of circumstance in addition to performance. But let's take a guess here. In terms of the order, and I'm not saying this is going to happen this year, but just in general, the order in which these guys make it to the majors. Who's going to make it first, second, third, and fourth? I'm trying to think about it myself as I talk about it.
I'm ready.
All right, Sammy, you go.
Okay. Campbell, Teal, Anthony, Meyer. The only reason I got Meyer last is because he's dinged up right now and he's dealing with injuries. He's done for the season. So that's my order.
I almost the same. Campbell, Teal, Meyer, Anthony.
Oh, Meyer before.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tough because Sammy, you referenced the injury, but if you don't think they're going to be up this year, he'd be healthy. But at the same time, he won't have any AAA at bats.
Yeah, they're gonna want to get him going at AAA first, is my thought. And I think that eventually, next year they're gonna care a lot less about Roman Anthony's age, because at some point you gotta be like, all right,
yeah,
this kid's ready. He's ready.
The reason that I flip flopped the two was because I think that Campbell and Teal are up in some point September. I think it happens.
Campbell.
That being said, I think Marcelo breaks camp next year on the team, and I think Teal is called up soon after.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Now you're saying Marcelo is going to skip AAA entirely. Yeah, then
I am.
Wow,
that's a take.
It's a hot take. It's not crazy, but it's definitely a hot take.
Benintendi skipped AAA entirely, and Rafi played like a week down there, so it would not be the first time. Although obviously a new infrastructure, like that was under Dombrowski.
Did
This
Juan
is
Soto
obviously-
play in AAA? Because he came up at like 19 or
He was a
20
kid.
with Washington.
I
Literally.
think it was like I think it might have been like a Devers type stopover if I remember right, but we're gonna have to look that up. I'll give you my order. Look it up while I give you my order. I'm gonna go Campbell, Anthony, Teal, Meyer. Whoa. Maybe I'm reading too much into what we've seen, but I mean Campbell's got an OPS over 1,000 in AAA. Anthony's got an OPS over 900 and continues to just hit the ball harder than pretty much anyone in the minor leagues. Teal, I would have had higher, and honestly, it's probably going to be an Anthony and Teal tie. But I mean, Teal has struggled in AAA to this point, hitting only 100. So I'm not in favor of rushing these guys, especially considering the Red Sox at all of their positions have play. Like it's not like you're starting like when they were holding Casas down, the guy you were starting was like Bobby Dahlbeck and Franchi Cordero. If you're holding Teal down, you're starting Connor Wong, or if they re-sign Danny Jansen. Like if you hold Meyer down, you're starting David Hamilton and Romy Gonzalez platoon, and that's been good. If you hold Anthony down, you see all the talent that's in the outfield. Like same thing with Campbell. So there's no reason to rush anybody.
So Juan Soto, first of all, for some reason this sounds weird to me. You guys know what year Juan Soto made his major league debut?
2019, right?
It's 2018, which is crazy because I feel like Juan Soto's been playing for so long. He's just like a household name to me in my head, but I forget how young he is. He did skip AAA, not a single AAA at bat, but obviously you can't really. That's kind of like comparing Brian Bayo to Pedro Martinez. It's just not fair to do to like Christian Campbell or anybody really. It's friggin'
He's Barry
Juan
Bonds.
Soto. Yeah, future Met.
Yeah, hopefully.
Juan Soto is 3 months older than me, and I don't know if there's anything more demoralizing in the world.
Shut up, Pat. He's younger than both me and Sammy.
Get used to it, Pat. We want to actually, yeah, he's almost 26, so he's not. It's weird. My brain is like doesn't understand Juan Soto because in my head he's 22, but he's also been around forever. So I don't. I think he just breaks my brain.
Yeah, Pat. How much younger than you is Roman Anthony? If he's 20,
It's like 4.5 years.
and so Sammy, that means he's like 40 and a half years.
Yeah. Remember when I asked him if he played MVP baseball 2005 and he was
Oh,
like,
that
"No,
was so good."
I was 1-year-old. That was awful.
That actually might be my favorite like player interaction moment of the season. No, the Casas eating Duran one probably has to be it. But I don't know, man. You asking Roman Anthony if he played MVP baseball, because I was filming in the back and I knew that he was gonna have to respond with something like that. Like there was no way he was gonna be able to like yes you along in the answer. It's just I was an infant.
He was very nice about it. At least he was gentle.
Roman
let you down
was
gently.
born after opening day of the 2004 season.
All right, we're done with this conversation.
All right, should we get into some enough said before we get out of here?
Yeah, I got a depressing one for you guys.
Let's
You guys
hear
want some
it.
trivia?
Yeah, please.
Can you name the 3 Major League Baseball teams in 2024 who have a worse record at home than the Red Sox? That's right. The Red Sox have the 4th worst home record. Who are they better than? 3 teams.
White Sox,
Yep, that's the easy one.
Athletics,
Nope.
Cubs,
Nope.
Rockies,
Nope. Rockies are good at home, remember?
A's.
Joe, any
Uh,
guesses?
Blue
One
Jays.
is really obvious. You're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Rays,
No.
Blue Jays.
No. Come on. There's a terrible team.
Oh,
One of those
Angels,
is-
Angels.
Angels. Yeah, that's one. That's not the obvious one, but
Marlins.
Marlins. Yes, that's the one I thought you were going to get. So that's who the Red Sox are better than at home. The Marlins, devastatingly good team. The Angels, the 2002 World Series champions, and the White Sox, the 2005 World Series champions, who are desperately fighting to not have the worst record in Major League Baseball history. So some really disgusting company to be in. If I'm jokes aside, that is just fucking embarrassing for all the what's it called? What's that show called? Canadian show? Letterkenny. If anyone watched Letterkenny, fucking embarrassing.
Pat, you want to go next or you want to go last?
No, I'll go next. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I guess it's kind of a documentary. I think it's a MLB Network thing about Greg Maddux. Did you
Yeah.
guys see this?
Oh yeah.
Gordo, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Talking about the Bagwell thing.
No.
No,
I'm
he's talking about the
how he
call-in
called his
pitches.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I saw the second part.
Jeff Bagwell. Greg Maddux called his own pitches every game. And he did this based on how he caught the ball. So if he caught the ball with a fully extended arm, it was a fastball outside. If he caught it up close to his chest, it was a fastball inside. If he brushed his pant leg after he caught it, it was a changeup. If he kind of swiped his forehead to like scratch his forehead, it was a cutter. And if he it was his
like he
nose
picked
or
his
something,
nose.
it was a slider, curveball, whatever it was. And he just did this every single time he caught a baseball his entire career, at least with the Braves, maybe his whole career.
There's no way that works today.
Do you know how much of a psychopath, not only to think of that, but in the 2-3 seconds between you catching the ball and towing the rubber, knowing exactly what you want to throw and where? That's insane to me. Greg Maddux, he is in his own stratosphere of pitching smarts. He's a magician.
Did you hear the Bagwell thing? The Bagwell thing that I mentioned earlier, like why I said that?
Yeah, say it.
So he basically, the catcher, I can't remember the catcher's name, his catcher with the Braves, was saying how the Braves and the Astros were playing a game kind of early in the regular season. And, the book on Jeff Bagwell was pitch him away. Don't give him anything inside or he'll pull it, hit a bomb. Greg Maddux, the catcher or whoever was like, throw the pitch away. And Greg Maddux was like, no, I'm throwing it inside. And catcher was like, okay. Bagwell cleans it out.
Javi Lopez.
I don't think it was Javi Lopez. It was a different guy. That's why I was kind of confused. But anyway, he throws an inside pitch to Jeff Bagwell, home run. Catcher's kind of like, dude, why'd you do that? That's not the scouting report. And Greg Maddux says to him, look, man, Astros are really good. We're probably going to play them again in the playoffs. He's going to be looking for that pitch, and I'm not going to give it to him because he's going to remember that I threw him an inside pitch. He's going to think it's coming again, and it's not going to. Fast forward a few months, they do play the Astros in the playoffs, and he strikes out Jeff Bagwell on like 3 pitches on the outside corner. And he reminds the catcher, he's like, remember what I said? The catcher's like, no, I don't. What did you say? And he reminds the catcher, Eddie Perez, I think, actually. Thank you, Pat. I hope that's right. But anyway, he reminds the catcher, like, remember I said he's going to be looking for the inside pitch. I'm not going to give it to him. There you go. So, like you said, complete psycho in the best way, Greg Maddux. I'm like, that's great. That is next level baseball chess. Giving a guy a pitch months earlier so that he'll be looking for it in the playoffs. Crazy to me, but very cool.
I think to go back to the original story, I think the craziest part about this to me, like baseball teams have people who like literally just sit there for hours and hours and hours and watch film looking for like the slightest little indication of what's coming so they can get a tip. How in the world did Greg Maddux pitch for as long as he did? And that never got caught. They just did it over and over again. And like his teammates knew it. It just like they never got it. That's insane to me.
They probably changed it up a little bit, but like there's no way that would work today. No shot.
But
the Astros
I think
decode it.
Other reason too is I think just naturally when people are looking for tells and signs and whatever, they're looking from like when they first toe the rubber. I think no one would really instinctively think like, oh, okay, between the last pitch thrown up until the next, watch every single little thing. I think it like most people, if they're like analyzing pitching, looking for tells, whatever, start once they toe the rubber. So something as subtle as catching it out here, catching it here. Sure, like you're watching a full game on replay looking for tells. Like you're going to look away that split second. And I think that's why it works so well. It's because it's such a small thing in between pitches that they'll be looking at. It's insane to me. It's so cool.
Very subtle. You know what's crazy is obviously, yes, it couldn't happen today because they're way more committed to trying to find those things today. But also, like, there's pitchers today that call their own pitches. I'm pretty sure Chris Bassett calls his own pitches. I think he's one of them. Like, they literally have the pitch comm, like, on their leg or something. I don't know. Like, in their glove. I don't know. But they call their own pitches sometimes. I know Greinke, I believe, did it. So Maddox would have just been one of those guys. But no, that's I love PitchCom. I love all this stuff. I love the new stuff that baseball has. But like that's another one of those things that's just it's kept out of the game because of new things that come into it. But I'll give my enough said. Just a thought I was having watching the game today. Sullivan Tire ad comes on. I have a question. How many tires have you guys bought in your life?
Oh, big tire guy. I buy a couple every week.
I bought all 4 at once. Had to probably 6.
No, I've never bought a tire. I think he sells like wholesale tires, and that's how they make money. Is my
Couple
guess.
of months ago, I had all 4 of mine replaced.
How much do you have to pay?
Conspiracy or something about this?
Well, a little bit because I like. How the hell are they paying for all this advertising, and how are they running a successful business? It's like the mattress thing that we talked about this like way at the beginning of Play Tessie. This must have been the first like 15 episodes where we talked about Mattress Firm. Who the hell's buying all these mattresses? Who the fuck is buying all these tires? Where Sullivan Tire is having all these ads for years on Nesson.
Sullivan Tire. I bet they make most of their money in the winter too, when the weather is bad and they gotta. By the way, I think even crazier than that is how come I feel like that guy, the Sullivan Tire guy, has been the same age my entire life.
Oh, he's Darren Oliver. You're right.
He's the Darren Oliver of local ads.
All right, Pat, you got one more thing before we get out of here?
I got one more. This is live time. This just came in. Lake Mary, Florida just won the Little League World Series. I know we were talking about how we're not big into Little League World Series.
Yeah, not my thing.
They were in extras, man on second. Lake Mary lays down a bunt. The pitcher and first baseman crash. The second baseman does not cover first. The pitcher instinctively picks up the bunt, turns, throws. No one's covering first, right into right field. Run scores from second, and that's how they walked it off. So congrats, Lake Mary. That's bad baseball. That kid.
Oh,
that
kid.
Yeah,
that might be. Dude, that's bad. That's rough.
I can't get it. I mean, it's such a low level.
You just feel bad for the kid.
I know, and I know everyone's gonna be like, "Well, these are the future major leaguers." I know that's great. It just doesn't interest me.
12. Relax.
I get the hype. I get why people like it. It's just like there's so many things I'd rather do than watch a youth baseball game on TV.
Yeah, rough.
Well, on that note, we appreciate you guys tuning in to episode 121 of Play Tessie. Before you go about your day, remember, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening, wherever you get your podcasts. Even if you don't get your podcasts in all 3 or 4 or 5, whatever podcast locations, go to as many as you can and subscribe on all of them because it helps us out so much. You can also find us on YouTube on the WEI channel. We've got a Play Tessie playlist there, and you can hit the thumbs up on those videos. That also helps us out. You can find us on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. There's always good stuff coming on those accounts. So benefits you, benefits us, benefits everybody if you guys follow those. For Sammy and for Pat and for Joe producing, it's Gordo here. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.